the big board of the most annoying people you encounter every year during the tournament. That takes us to the jerk off who picks based on
mascots.
We joke and say it's women, but there's always some jerk off the bar who has done this and wants to tell you about it. Oh, really? Right. It's so interesting about, I don't know, how the Blue Jays would use their quickness and speed to outfight a duck. Like, who cares? Please explain to me how the Blue Devil would use his magic powers to overcome a guy with a gun. Tell me about how in the 17th century they used to actually fight bears versus tigers, and bears always won. Who the hell cares? If you don't like college basketball, just don't participate. Don't annoy the hell out of the rest of us who actually like this sport, and this is a big event for us.
Oh my God,
I don't care about your analysis of mascot fights. Congratulations on your totally system you have created. That was actually the storyline for a What's Happening episode in 1977. I'm not even joking. There was a What's Happening where Rerun was picking games based on mascots.
No. Oh my God.
Really? If this is how you're doing it, that's fine. Just don't tell me about it.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Hello, my name is Jeff, more commonly known as Defo, and I am a sick, degenerate gambler. Should we just start this as if it was a GA meeting every day, Lubie? What do you think? How are you? Mike Lubie, Lubitz, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeff DeForest. It's a Thursday. We have a little competition going. This was based, and this doesn't imply any kind of racial assertions or any type of racism whatsoever, but the trivia challenge was actually devised around the concept that white men can't compete anymore, Lubie.
No, God.
Is that fair? I mean, when the Polyman and I first started discussing this thing, he said, you know what? We love to compete. I went out and played a little tennis last night. I love to compete. I don't care that I'm playing a guy who's a cripple at 73 years old. My friend, Dr. Jerry, I'm happy he can't move for any shots. Here's another dropper, Dr. Jerry. Test those knees. We love to compete. You want to win. You want to win at something. And we used to be great. We'd go out there and play basketball. And if, the more athletic black guys were dominating the court, we still thought we were in there with a shot, the Jewish kids. We really did. Get thumped 11-7, start pointing a few fingers, and then run down the other end of the court and play in another game. But nonetheless, love to compete. And the trivia challenge was devised under the premise that we just can't compete at the highest levels of sports anymore. Is that a fair assessment, Lubie? Maybe not. Not every sport. But you look around at the rosters of certain teams, and you're thinking, seems to be dominated by African Americans. Hispanics are in there now. I mean, Lithuanians in the NBA, all kinds of crazy people have infused themselves into the world of sport, making it even more problematic for the white man to compete. But we know our stuff, do we not?
Sure.
It's something that runs with it. So we'll have that. The trivia challenge will be coming your way. I didn't mean to get that deeply into sociology with this thing, but nonetheless, that's the premise that it was based on, at least in its origins. Part of it, anyway. We didn't ever mention that to anybody, but it's a great game. Dave Gurggles Gergely is going to conduct it. You can win a prize. Did you ever wrestle those gift certificates from Texas Roadhouse, Lubie? Can we?
But we didn't have to give one away last week.
False promise, and then under deliver.
No, we have one to give away for now, and I'll talk to Ed. And we didn't give it away last week, so if someone who's on the more of the national scale, because Roadhouse is national and Landlubber is only South Florida, there is a Roadhouse gift certificate that we can give away, and I will get with Ed sometime early next week and see if we can make that a regular thing.
Can't you give him that gift card that he sent you for me?
Yes, that's
what I'm not dating to. Think of it, I got another one in my wallet right now, Defo. I was just about to use it.
I want to give it to you, but yes, if need be.
You've only seen me like 50 times since he
our local people like Landlubbers, but yes, someone I'd like to get the national people in. And I'll talk to Ed and I'll make sure that I make
a national prize.
You'll have a Roadhouse gift card, but I also would like. I don't see why you'd have a problem. They're usually big on getting people involved. So in the past, they've done that with us, and I don't see why that would be an issue now.
That was always the big fear when we would run our own individual contests at various radio stations. Make sure they have the prize. Who did they give it to? Did they mail it out? What? Are you kidding me? All right, so we'll have that coming up with Dave Gurggles Gergely. Your chance to compete, win a prize, and I'm going to say for now that it's a Texas Roadhouse gift certificate.
Can
Is that
be that
fair,
work.
Libby? Okay, I can go ahead and make that commitment.
Yeah.
Now, I talked about the degenerate gambling, and look, everybody is involved right now because we're all trying to beat the cleaning lady. We've been talking about this for a couple of weeks on the show, and I don't know that I'm a sick degenerate gambler. What would you think, Libby? Sick degenerate gambler. What does the word "sick" imply as a preface to degenerate gambler? It's a deeper version of being a
No
degenerate. No
control,
doubt
right?
about it.
I get
Total
no
lack of control. Guys, I mean, if you trace it back, we were way ahead of our time in talking about this stuff on the air, but nonetheless, we were way ahead of our time, at least I was, in terms of getting involved. Gambling since my earliest memories, Luby. If you considered playing marbles, flipping baseball cards, are those not forms of gambling in some
Mhm.
way? I mean, some
Definitely.
kid would go home crying to his mother that he lost his entire collection of Mickey Mantle cards in mint condition playing a game of Topsy as you convinced him, and it's not fun if you just use the checklist. Arnie, who was looking to be accepted by, the guys that were considered to be on the cool side of things. And so he would whip out like his Yastrzemski rookie card. Well, we didn't know that was going to be a value. I had no idea. Carl Yastrzemski. We couldn't pronounce his name, Yastrzemski. We're
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
at it saying, and this was prior to this being a common phrase. Buy a vowel, will you? I mean, how the hell do you say this name?
Yeah.
I probably had 25, 30 Yastrzemski rookie cards. I ended
That's
up,
crazy.
my parents found a box of cards and that I had kept for some reason. My mother had kept it for me. Small box. I'd given my collection away a long time ago because that was almost like having a brisk where, no, it was more like bar mitzvah where you became a
Yeah,
man.
you
And
like
so you
pass it
gave
from
away
the
your card collection because it was sort of childish and infantile to be
Yes.
collecting baseball cards and have thousands of them. And what did we do with them? We found a million different adaptions for baseball cards, but most prominently, it was used in gambling. And then I can still envision as we speak, Luby. I remember I was standing by the stoop at the Clinton Hill Apartments when my man Richie D'Angelo, who was kind of the Fonz of our neighborhood in Brooklyn, talked me into booking all the action against the New York Yankees in that 1960 World Series. So I was 9 years old, Luby, when I first started chasing the idea that you could make money without having to work just by gambling on various outcomes of sporting events, races, almost anything that you could imagine that you could put money on. If it's moving, we're betting on it. And that was our strategy. Now, this is in conjunction with my modern day philosophy, which I practiced today, Louis. I don't know if you're involved in this, but and I've mentioned this to you a few times in my sort of fatherly capacity with you that you should not let a single, if you're not where you want to be, exactly where you want to be in terms of how you're living your life, you should not let a single day go by without at least dedicating some portion of that day, whether it's early in the morning, late at night, middle of the afternoon, while you're on your walk of life, whatever it is you're doing, while you're drooling over a salad, without trying to figure out some way, approach some way to beat the system.
For sure.
Is that
Yes.
not, I mean, something that everybody should address every single day? Figure out some. I sound like I'm giving a Jimmy Valvano speech
You
to the
sound like
kids.
Ernest Ainsley is what you sound like.
It's a good day if you spend at least for 30 seconds trying to figure out a way to beat the freaking system. And gambling would be one way, would it not? People were infatuated. Look at the popularity, the rise in popularity of poker. You couldn't find three guys to sit down at a poker table. When I used to go out to Las Vegas, there'd be a couple of guys with cigarettes dangling. They all looked like Sammy Faha, the guy that used to see on a World Series of poker videos and broadcasts that ESPN was doing. And by the way, has that been phased out, Luby?
Yeah, I
Is
don't.
poker, the game itself is as popular as pickleball.
Yeah, yeah,
Still.
yeah, yeah.
And pickleball, what a craze. I'm playing tennis last night. Now, they shut the lights off on the tennis court and close it down at 9 o'clock. I guess that's in deference to the fact that they have to get the courts together and the maintenance guy comes out there, a guy named Kevin. He's brilliant. This guy should be working. He's the, is it George Toma, the guy in the NFL?
Yeah, the field guy.
This guy is the George Toma of clay court tennis. He should. I'm amazed he's not the main guy at Roland Garros. This park is pristine. Named the number one public park in America for tennis. But they
Really?
shut that down at 9 o'clock. So I angle my way around the park and I end up rolling by what is very visible from Federal Highway, the pickleball courts, which they had installed I think it's over 20 pickleball courts that they added in recent years to outdoors. They may have even taken down. Can you imagine this, Lubie? I think they may have taken down the basketball courts.
Oh my God.
Blasphemy. Packed last night, Lubie, at 9:00 at night.
I know.
People, wait, no, we got next. So what is this, man? It was like the old days with that basketball game we used to be in with Dr. J that I often mention, and we brought it up again to Jim Larinaga, who, by the way, is going to give us an even more definitive tourney preview on Tuesday's edition of this show.
Yes.
So he was featured this week on Conversations. A little bit of a butcher job as we weren't able to get the video. And then I thought you did a nice job of scrambling. Now, it looked kind of awkward. But without your efforts, Lubie, and I have to pay tribute to you, without your efforts, we blow the whole thing. So
Yeah.
I actually, as compromised as the thing was, I felt pretty good about it. But, yeah, I mean, gambling your whole life. Every day you're trying to figure out a way to beat the system. So where are we at today, Lubie? Because I'm running into some mental roadblocks here. There's a natural gravitation for some reason towards favorites, no matter how much you despise them. Now, there are certain people that have the discipline to ignore them completely.
Mhm.
I would say this about favorites. You have to learn how to sometimes accept that you're not going to beat. There are certain horses and races
Yeah,
you're not going to beat. There are certain teams in the tournament that, at least in the early rounds, you're not going to see get knocked out. Now, you say that, but you have to exercise a certain amount of what you're hoping is knowledgeable caution,
Mhm.
educated caution. Where, okay, could anybody have seen Fairleigh Dickinson beating Purdue? What was that? Was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
2
Yeah,
years ago. Nobody could have seen it. What are you talking about?
No way.
Not even a Fairleigh Dickinson coach could have possibly sat in the locker room before the game. Now, we had that discussion with Jim Larinaga where he's telling his team, hey, look, they think that their stuff doesn't stink. But guess what? We have the answer. It's right here. It's right here in this room.
Yep.
But we should just go and put wireless mics on and get the ambient sound there of coaches motivating their teams. These speeches must be really something from the psychological thing. But take, for example, the NBA, where I'm at the point of being right in the middle of that Buddy Miles tune. My mind keeps going through them changes. And here's the problem. Herein lies the problem. Because it's not romantic. It's not sexy. It's not appealing. You don't really stand out. It doesn't stamp you as a man if somebody says, hey, who do you like to win the NBA championship? And you go, well, I love the Celtics.
Yeah.
Or the Thunder. The chalk. It's like picking Scotty Scheffler to win this TPC thing. Chalk.
Yeah.
And people look at you and they absolutely despise the fact that you even mentioned that. But what are you going to do? I mean, are you always trying to convince yourself that you need to throw out the chalk? In the NBA, that's usually fatal because it's a chalk league. Although Dallas being in the finals last year out of the West certainly came as a big surprise to a lot of people, not the least of which was Nico Harrison, because he was so surprised by it. He said, let me decimate the team. Sounds like something a Miami team would do. Just dismantle the team because you just had too much success. I mean, look at the Marlins, for example. Unbelievable what they've done in the past. I don't know. Did they disassemble that 2003 team? No, they came back after they won.
They didn't keep it intact. They let Pudge go. They brought in Delgado.
Pudge was about finished, I think. They got all they could out of him.
But yeah, but he had been a leader for that ball club, and he played, I think, another 2 or 3 years after that. But no, they didn't do what they did in 98 after 97. Like, they kept most of the pitching staff together. They kept most of the team together. They just made little tweaks trying to enhance it, and it went the other way, of course.
I nearly spit my coffee, not because we said anything particularly funny, but I accidentally used the hazelnut coffee that was
you didn't know
hidden at the bottom of this little pod rack that you have, and such ugliness.
like,
Whose idea was that? Start flavoring this stuff.
Hazelnut's rough.
It's not like I'm a black coffee drinker and one of these diehard guys. Yeah, give me a coffee black and a Camel cigarette. No, I'm not one of those guys. I'm not Mr. Macho, the Marlboro Man. But hazelnut, weak. What a way to ruin a cup of coffee, Libby. That was rather unfortunate, that choice, because I thought I had weeded all of those out of the system there.
Yeah. Well, now you have.
I don't want to turn the light on in the kitchen because all of a sudden, are we getting any electricity from Canada? I don't know.
I have no idea.
It's gonna be
I
expensive.
think it's the Northeast more so.
All right, so my mind keeps going through them changes on the NBA stuff for a simple reason. I started to really like Denver as a possibility for the upset. I'm trying to look past
Yeah.
OKC, which they had a
Yes.
nice performance last night on the road, getting 3.5 points, Mr. Degenerate, and they beat the Boston Celtics straight up.
Yes.
So that was, I mean, would you consider that? Do any regular season games at this point stand out as being of significance? Where
No,
OKC goes against Boston and they beat them on the road.
but look, I not really, but if you're the young upstart team and the Celtics are at home, at least maybe you can use that to help motivate you going forward. I don't know. I you know me how I am with the regular
Yeah.
season at this point. Like I and the Celtics have won a lot. I mean,
You've become the majority, though, Lubie, where people attach no significance, no relevance whatsoever to the regular season. Is that not a poor position? If that's the truth, if that's the case for the NBA, I mean, is that true of all sports? You can't ignore the regular season in the NFL, even
no.
though you do have a lot of teams that make the postseason. It still hasn't been bastardized to the point where 20 out of 30 teams make the postseason. I like some stuff that happens in the regular season, especially towards the end of the regular season in the NBA. And while everybody is telling me, "Oh, yeah, that's garbage, what they're doing there," I still find it interesting from a lot of different aspects, including now trying to find a team that you can go ahead and embrace with some kind of a reasonable sense of conviction that you have a team that may beat Oklahoma City or the Celtics. Cavaliers, I guess you. How can you not throw them in there with what they're doing, Louis?
It would be the Cavs and the Nuggets to me. I just don't know what to do with the Nuggets. They lost again last night to the T-Wolves, and the T-Wolves are a nice team, but they're a struggling team.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are just Jokic is metronomic, but the rest of that roster, I mean Murray, Gordon, Porter Jr. have not been what we saw in years past. So it's hard to see them sticking it out. Like the Warriors are interesting, the Lakers are interesting. I just don't know if they're going to beat a Thunder in a 7-game series. The Cavs are the Cavs to me are on the same footing as the Celtics, and they keep coming, and they're getting stronger, and they're getting more confident. So people were forgetting them. I think is dumb. I put them on equal footing as the Celtics, and they'll have home court. And
So what you're saying is essentially there are three teams that have a shot. And they're the three chalk, although you're getting the best price on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Can they beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in a 7-game series? You would have to think yes. They're in the midst of, I think, a 15-game winning streak, something like that.
Yep.
They've been dynamite all year long, and people still are refusing to take those sticks out of their pocket, go to the window, or tap onto their phone and embrace them as a possible NBA champion. But there was another. You gave a great example. Denver spit the bit yesterday, lose by 20 to Minnesota. Now it's great too because Kendrick Perkins is perfect for this sort of mentality, and that is whoever wins that night, he's telling you they're the team to watch. Which is what I started to do, because is there a brick wall there in the NBA with the chalk? Now that's not the case, or it may be. Excuse me. That may be that's that hazelnut stuff, huh, Libby? You're like Gurggles. That may be the case. That may be the case as you're looking at the NCAA tournament. No, I'm studying all these weenie conference teams, and you know how much I love this. McNeese makes it into the tournament. And they make it in back-to-back years. Will Wade, he was a failed coach at LSU, was he not, Libby? Will Wade?
Yes.
And it's not like your career is necessarily transitioning upward when you go from LSU in the SEC to McNeese, who now 2 years in a row under Will Wade has made it to the NCAA tournament after making it 2 times previously in their history, Libby. So that's a pretty good thing. Now, is he one of those coaches that's going to McNeese, do they have to win a game in the NCAA tournament for him to distinguish himself as a McNeese head coach, enough so that when the coaching carousel starts going around and spinning around, he gets a ride to one of the bigger schools? It's possible. But a nice accomplishment there is they win their conference championship, and we'll be going back to the NCAA tournament. American wins the Patriot League by beating Navy. Holy David Robinson.
There you go.
I mean, the Admiral had to be there, but they got pounded. The Navy did 74-52, so Americans in there, leaving us with these sleepers, Lubie. These sleepers so far. You know I love Big Daddy Lipscomb. 25-9 on the season, the ASUN Conference champion. I'm not sure any of the others, and yet there is one standout there. How tough? Do we have any idea how tough, how difficult, how competitive, how comparative the Missouri Valley Conference is to any of the big conferences, Lou? Because Drake is the one team. You talk to anybody about sleepers, and as if you were gargling with melatonin, they start talking about Drake.
Well, because Larinaga said the other day, they have 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds.
Yes, I like that.
They have guys that have been around for like 7-8 years. Like, yeah, they're so experienced. You would take that over a 19-year-old fight. Like, we've seen the Kentuckys and the Dukes of the world actually struggle in the tournament because you want veterans. Like, it's just a different animal. And you want guys that when, like Larinaga talked about in that game when he was on Mason, and they had a bunch of vets, and it was at UConn, and they were hooting and hollering. They were up like 16-4. And he said, look at the bench. They think it's over. Watch. And once they turned it on, UConn looked lost. Like, the young guys versus veterans, that's what levels the play field in the tournament.
It's like watching a boxing match where one guy scores a knockdown, he's jumping up and down, he's waving to his fans, and then the other guy comes right back off the deck and starts firing punches and haymakers and ends up winning the fight. Where you look over, and they were overconfident, as Larinaga was describing, North Carolina, when they were up 16. He said 16-4. How credible is Wikipedia, Lubie? Are all of their facts need to be checked? But regardless, I mean, huge deficit. You're getting hammered right out of the gate. North Carolina is thinking this is a cakewalk. And that was against George Mason in that run they made in 2002, 2003, I believe it was. Or was it 2006, right? 2005, 2006, where Larinaga made the run with George Mason. And then they come back and they answer back. Maybe they come back and throw one haymaker, and they score an equivalent knockdown, so the round becomes even. And they look over to the bench there, and North Carolina's in the dumps. So who was coaching North Carolina at that point?
Then
Was it
like
Williams?
Guthridge. It was either Bill Guthridge or Matt. Remember Matt Doherty was a massive.
Oh yeah. He was just on Bleacher Brothers with our friend A.J. Johnson.
I think it was Matt Doherty because he was right before Roy. They're like, Roy, you have to leave Kansas. We need you now. Yeah. And Roy came.
Roy needs a coach.
And they were winning with Roy. It might have been Roy Williams, though, because I remember them winning a title in the early 2000s. Roy Williams' first title with the Rashad McCants team and Sean May, like that loaded-ass team. And Roy Williams was a coach for that team. So I would think that he still would have been the coach for 2005, 2006. So it might have been Roy Williams, actually.
Yeah. Doherty, who ended up also coaching at FAU, was brilliant the other day on Bleacher Brothers. You can check that out. The Bleacher Brothers show with A.J. Johnson. All right, I wanted to touch on one other thing before we get into the game here. And we've already got players lined up. You can dial us up if you want to play this Thursday edition of the Trivia Challenge. Dave Gurggles Gergely going to join us here in just a sec. In fact, you can pop Gurgs in now if you want, Lubie. He's ready to go. There he is, the handsome one himself, Mr. Dave Gurggles Gergely, back fresh off a trip to Tampa Bay at the Tampa Bay Derby, which did the horse that you gave out, Gurggles, was that the winner, Owen Almighty?
He did not win. No, he did not win.
Is he still running? Where is this horse? No, I don't mean in competition. I mean, is he still running somewhere?
No, but it was a terrific time. Got to see some old friends. I actually had dinner Monday before I came back with the football coach when I was the basketball coach that I coached with 46 years ago and haven't seen him since.
How'd you run into him? Oh, that was the guy that came.
Well, I found him on Facebook. He's believe it or not, a recovering alcoholic, and he's been going around the country doing motivational speaking for the last 30 years.
I think I'm going to get into that as a recovering degenerate gambler.
What, alcoholism or motivational speaking?
You know what? Why not try another vice? Maybe it'll balance the gambling.
And another note, last night we had a nice dedication to Lenny.
Nice.
That was last night?
Yeah, a little bar in Fort Lauderdale called the Sevens. Some of the Chronic showed up, and we had a nice rolling picture show of him, and it was a nice little tribute to him.
I'm sorry I didn't make it. Yeah, I didn't. I thought it was next Wednesday. So
We had a little poem about him missing the true false questions and being necrotic. So yeah, we had a nice time with that.
another Lenny dedication. Still shocked. Incomprehensible. I mean, people are dropping like flies lately. We were talking about we should just run a daily obituary column here, and we could probably fill the hour. Junior Bridgman, very interesting character with a great sports storyline, and then became an insanely successful business entrepreneur. He checked out at 71. And Oliver Miller, I mean, he's been the punchline of a lot of NBA jokes and fat guy jokes in sports for me over the years, out of respect to his passing at 54. Do we have to drop that aspect of our material?
Wow.
Or is it paying homage to the guy if you mention him as one of the guys who ate himself? How many athletes actually eat themselves out of a job? Very few.
Not many. No, look, even the David Wells of the world, they somehow play around it. Like even the golfers, like that's bad. Like, ugh, that's sad.
Yeah, check down. I don't know what they didn't list the cause of death, but Oliver Miller often mentioned.
Yeah.
We're keeping his name alive out there, but he is no longer with us. So check down at 54. Wow. That was bad. I did want to mention this before we get into the game, though, because I'm looking at this NFL free agency. Are we missing something here? Because the Commanders have been unbelievable, haven't they? Lubie and what they've done in the offseason so far. Think about this. They added Debo. They added Laramie Tunsil.
Yep, Tunsil was big.
They got this guy Kinlaw to help make up for some of their defections there on defense.
Defensive back, yep.
And and they re-signed a couple of their key guys, Wagner, Ertz. Could you do any better? Dan Quinn, who we thought was just another one of those old retread coaches, did a great job last year. He's got more guts than anybody. Fourth downs, he makes Dan Campbell look like he's a conservative.
I don't know if that's true.
He went for more fourth downs than anybody. But it seems like they've added elements and components to their roster that they were already a very good team. I mean, I don't know. I would imagine they were 18-1 to win the Super Bowl. Gurggles, would you take a swipe at that or no?
Yeah. I mean, they're going to give the Eagles all they can handle in that East, I'm sure. And so we'll wait and see. But Washington's done a terrific job with that, and the Eagles have kind of let some of their guys go, which happens after a Super Bowl. Guys said, "Hey, I got my ring now. I want to get paid." I don't blame them.
Yep.
A lot of defections there, no doubt. I don't know if Vic Fangio is going to be able to field the defense next year. I think they're down to like 9 guys. All right, we're going to get into the game here, and you can dial us up if you want to play, 954-417-0070. Lubie very boldly putting up for our international audience now a Texas Roadhouse gift certificate. And I believe, can you find Texas Roadhouse in other countries as well? I think so.
They do have
and good around the United States of America, and I would imagine, I don't know, maybe even parts of Canada if it gets incorporated into the U.S. So all over the place, great place, and this gift card will buy you a lot of stuff at Texas Roadhouse. So dial us up if you want to play, 954-417-0070. Lubie will be live tonight with his own version with the professor of trivia competition at Landlubbers, where we usually are sending people who are prize winners. But we wanted to step up our game a little bit here. No denigration to Landlubbers, but at least this is accessible for people. If you're out there in Ted Kaczynski's old house, hey, I bought a fixer-upper in Montana, you can find a Texas Roadhouse probably somewhere in the vicinity. So
almost every state has it, yes.
This is good for everybody. So dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. Back with Dave Gurggles Gergely on the Trivia Challenge in a moment. Now that.
The time.
Thank you, Johnny. It's 8:32. Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. Make the right choice for your home. Call Choice Mortgage today.
Oh, Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante, the Belmont's now 1 mile and an 8. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici, just switch the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
It's the name of the horse that Luke was riding in that Belmont Stakes. A good friend of ours, of course, the great Luca Panici, based at Gulfstream Park, and a real gentleman, this guy. So we're all rooting for him. I don't know that I invested too heavily in him winning the Belmont, but I couldn't possibly let that horse go off without having some money on him. Because if Luca Panici won the Belmont Stakes and I didn't have any kind of a wager on that horse, I would have felt like crap the rest of my life. But as Polyman referenced in that ode to Luca Panici and the fact that he was riding in the Belmont, quite a distinction. I don't know that he switched the stick. I think he dropped it at the gate. Why would they bother carrying this? I'm not going to be any factor in the stretch. So he's still running. All right, here's the way it works, guys. If you're uninitiated to the game, if you've never seen it before, heard it before, you dial us up at 954-417-0070. Gurggles is going to fire off a series of questions. And we use a random phone scrambler to determine who will be the first one on deck. Play as many people as we can before we get to the finals. The two people with the highest point total get to contest the championship here. And the winner is going to walk away with a Texas Roadhouse gift certificate. So in honor of the Polyman, co-creator of the game, the Polyman, and desperation is always the mother of invention. Always leads to some kind of innovation. In honor of the Polyman, we begin the game this week with Dave Gurggles Gergely and some
Easy baseball. This longtime Los Angeles Dodger outfielder, when asked if he ever prayed before a game, said, "You bet I do. First, I pray to God that nobody hits the ball to me, and then I pray that nobody hits the ball to Steve Sachs." What's that? Pedro Guerrero, Pedro Rodriguez, Ivan Rodriguez, or Ivan the Terrible?
Pedro said that. That's pretty clever for Pedro Guerrero. All right, the scrambler lands on Ron. Ron, you're up first here on the trivia challenge this week. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, fellas. Let's go with A.
Come on.
He's on the money again, and we're off to a rocking start.
Good job organizing last night's affair, Ron. That went really nice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gergel.
All right, sports, Ron. True or false? You may remember this. It happened last week. Alex Rodriguez, who banked in a half-court shot to win a student $10,000 at Bucknell University, believe it or not, has been contacted by Truist Bank, formerly SunTrust in South Florida, to do a commercial for them with the tagline, "Off the court, I always bank with Truist."
Oh,
True or false?
Wow.
Let's go false.
That's what I
Yeah,
was.
that's false.
Yeah.
That's false. I made it up.
Sounded a little convoluted there.
But if I was his agent, I'd be seeking that deal. Why not?
100%.
2 for 2, going for 5.
All right, football. Zach Wilson, recently signed by our own Miami Dolphins, threw his first NFL TD pass versus
Ooh.
Was that the Bills, the Panthers, the Dolphins, or the Bengals?
Let's go Dolphins.
Vince.
It was
Incorrect.
the Carolina Panthers.
That was the Panthers.
Would have been a tough one to know.
This is your 5
No
point.
sense of shame that you didn't know that answer, Ron, because you're still up and alive for 7 points.
Yes.
All right, 5-point question, Ron. Baseball. Who was the first African-American player inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame who had not
Not.
who had not
Not.
played in the Negro Leagues
I
first.
love you.
Timing.
Willie Mays, Bob Gibson, Ernie Banks, or Roy Campanella?
It looked like the Heat last night on that one.
Can you repeat those again?
Yeah.
Sure. Who was the first African-American player inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame who had not played in the Negro Leagues first? Willie Mays, Bob Gibson, Ernie Banks, or Roy Campanella?
Let's go Bob Gibson.
That's correct.
Wow. Good
Mr.
job.
1.13 ERA. Yep.
That's
Well
7.
done.
Set the pace. Good job.
Man, those were tough, Gurggles. The rest of the
Yeah, I
questions,
threw him a little softball because he's Lenny's buddy.
I don't know that was a softball. That was not easy. I was going to go with the Say Hey Kid. All right, jump on board if you want to play. 954-417-0070. Nice start there, Ron, one of the top players all time in the Trivia Challenge competition. Pops out a 7 spot right at the break there. So you can get involved in the game. 954-417-0070. Gurggles Perdomo Cigars. We got to talk about.
Yeah. I
Perdomo.
smoked a nice Perdomo cigar up at Tampa Bay. All my friends that I go to Saratoga with were there. Had a chance to sit outside. We had our own chairs, smoked a nice Perdomo cigar, and watched the races. Tampa Bay Downs, as you know from doing the show there, real friendly, accommodating place. They did a terrific job up there. And you don't need to go to Tampa Bay with a Perdomo cigar. You can get one right in your backyard here at 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto on the east side, a little bit on the south side, a little bit east of the Home Depot. And they're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you can go Nick, tomorrow see Nick Jr. It's a 4th generation of making cigars perfect one at a time. Cuban seed tobacco grown in Nicaragua, whether it's a mild Connecticut wrapper, like my favorite, the Lot 23, or it's a Maduro wrapper, a little more harsh, like the 20th anniversary. Whatever, they got cigars for everybody's taste. And right around the corner, you got Father's Day coming up. You got graduation day. Anything, you don't need an occasion to buy a Perdomo cigar. And this year, I'm making a long-term Perdomo bet. My Perdomo bet, I went to the Hard Rock up in Tampa, sat down and let it ride, won my first 2 hands, and then they switched dealers. And guess what the nationality was of the dealer they brought in?
Asian.
Cambodian.
Asian.
Oriental.
Asian.
So after 2
Asian,
losing hands, I left, cashed in, took 100 of that, and bet it over 79.5 wins for the Cincinnati Redlegs.
You love the rinses.
That's my Perdomo special. I hate to bet something where it goes that long term, but we'll stick around. I already won on the Bengals this year. I'm sticking with the same team. You don't need to have a wager to have a Perdomo. Just today, tomorrow, or whenever you like, go to Perdomo Cigars, 5150 Northwest 167th Street. If it's on a weekend, no problem. Go online, perdomocigars.com to find a retailer near you that makes these great cigars. Perdomo Cigars, get one today.
Now, we know Tampa is Cigar City. I mean, the Ybor City Chronicles, a great fight, Dr. Freddie Pacheco, always referencing, I would imagine, and there's something, it's weird because cigarette smoke used to gross me out completely. I mean, I would get physically ill just breathing in the slightest amount of cigarette smoke, secondhand smoke. Yet at a racetrack, I could tolerate it all day long. When it was more popular to smoke indoors. And women in my life used to wonder about that because I would go crazy if they were smoking a cigarette in a house. And then I'd go to the track and be ensconced in smoke, like I was in one of those old Clutch Cargo cartoons. And sure enough, no problem. Which is weird about it. But the aroma wafting off those Perdomo cigars in Cigar City, like Tampa, did that not attract like more attention than you usually like to gather when you're at a racetrack, Gurggles? Because I know you like.
Oh yeah, I mean, I went right past Arturo Fuentes building up there, and then stuck my Perdomo out at him and say, "Hey, Arturo, I got a Perdomo. I'm happy."
Yeah, there you go. Stick it where the sun don't shine. Yeah, and take your Cuban sandwich with what is it that they put on there?
Salami instead of
salami.
Ham.
Boy, that's really grotesque.
No, we found a place afterwards. These guys up in Tampa know it, called Delco Steaks, and it stands for Delaware County. And they Philadelphia cheesesteaks they make, and it's the best cheesesteak I've ever found anywhere.
Wow.
There's a standing line to get into the joint to get cheesesteaks, and they all Philly stuff inside of it and Flyer stuff. And if you're ever up there, man, it's not far from the track. And what great cheesesteaks!
I really enjoyed it there. It seems like, and Lubie and I have been there together at least once. We had to attend a sports radio how to do a show seminar that was being conducted by a guy that was at like a 3,000 watt station that could not be heard outside the parking lot. But he was like the big representative for iHeartMedia, and not a bad guy, but geez, what he was talking about. The weird part, too, that I remember about first going to Tampa when we were making a deal with Tampa Bay Downs to do a TV show there, is they viewed the people from South Florida as if we were the big-time city slickers.
Yes.
Coming into their little country town and trying to disrupt things. So that was kind of strange because I don't know. I mean, South Florida at the time was pretty much a hick town to anybody that ever lived in what was considered to be a real metropolitan city. All right, let's continue with the game. We have Ron with 7, and we're ready for our next player. So here's Dave, our next set of questions.
Okay, boxing. This late heavyweight champion succinctly summing up the sport of boxing said, boxing is the only sport where you can get your brain shook, your money took, and your name in the Undertaker book. And that was the late, great Joe Frazier, Walt Frazier, Frazier Crane, or Lois Lane.
All right, here's our next player. The random phone scrambler lands on, again, one of our favorite spots popping up here on the show. Key Largo Dave. You're on the Trivia Challenge. Good morning, Key Largo Dave.
Hey, good morning, guys.
A is correct.
Well done, Dave. You're catching on for a second-time caller. Well done.
Well, what's running down there in Key Largo? Are you a fisherman, Dave? Are we getting some fresh mahi-mahi? What's in season now?
Yeah, I live right on a canal. I rented a house down here for about a year, and I'm right on a canal. So I have 2 lines out now. I think I have a fish on one of them. So we got to get ready this one.
Nice.
Well, if you make the finals, that fish is going to be more than likely to wriggle off the hook. All right, you have 1 point. You're in the game.
All right, Dave. Horse racing, true or false? The winner of last week's Tampa Bay Derby, Owen Almighty, according to the owner, was named for his father's favorite TV character, Gary Owens, the announcer on Laugh-In. True or false?
False.
And that'd be false.
Yeah, that's right. That's false.
Who's naming a kid after Gary Owens? He was cool, though. I mean, as announcers go.
He was great with his hand over his ear.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
And now for something completely different. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
He was really good at what he did. 2 for 2, going for 5.
All right, let's go back to our new quarterback, Zach Wilson, again. In his only second NFL game, Zach Wilson threw not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 interceptions, including 2 on his first 2 passes. And it came versus was that the Patriots, the Bengals, the Dolphins, or the Bills?
These Zach Wilson questions are impossible.
Making me sad.
I'm going to go with the Bills.
Bills takes a shot.
Now it was the Bill Belichick coached Patriots.
All right. Very good, Key Largo, Dave. So you have a chance at time for the lead. You get this one right.
Yes.
All right, Dave, good luck on this one. Horse racing. Which major racetrack of the following was the last one to have an announcer calling the races?
Oh, wow.
Saratoga, Pimlico, Hialeah, or Keeneland?
I'm going to go A.
Hey,
That'd be Keeneland, no?
No.
I was going
Oh,
to say
Jeff knows that. Keeneland,
Yeah.
which I'll be at in
Mr.
5
Dave,
weeks from now.
We'll give you a call.
Oh, yeah, you're heading up there next week?
Yeah, April 16th to the 20th.
Okay, that's not next week. That's like
No, 5 weeks.
I may see you there, Gurggles. I'm not sure what dates I'm going, but I am going.
They open.
I have like a Gurggles like
4th or
Saratoga
something.
deal. What was that?
I think they open April 4th.
I have a Gurggles like Saratoga deal where a friend of mine's brother owns a farm 2 miles from the Keeneland Racecourse. So he's invited us, said, he's got plenty of room.
Oh, you got to get up there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I love it. I made an annual trek up there for several years and couldn't enjoy it anymore. Both the fall and the spring meet. Spring meet, obviously, you're thinking this is a time of year you want to breathe that fresh Kentucky air, loaded and laced with chlorophyll from all of the trees that are now green and very.
Yeah, Keeneland, we're all set. We've got seats every day. We've got. I rented a 5-bedroom farmhouse on 140 acres, about 13 miles from the track. We got our rental car. We're going to go to the Old Friends one day to see the retired horses. So we're looking forward to it.
Okay.
Just
Will you be?
First degenerate trip.
Will you be taking the simulcast from Remington Park at the Red Mile, also known as the Dead Mile, later on that evening?
I don't think we'll do that. We'll pass in the evening and just take it easy, enjoy our hospitality.
That is one of the qualifications on the SATs of being a sick degenerate. Did you go to Lexington, spend the whole day at Keeneland, and then take the trotter car to the Red Mile? All right, let's get into our next set of questions here. And what do you think? We'll make this the last one, Lubie, and then we'll go to the finals.
Yeah,
Okay, very good. So here's Dave Gurggles Gergely trying to find more competition right now for Ron, who has 7 points.
Golf. This humorist on his golf skills said, "I'll always remember the day I broke 90. I had a few beers in the clubhouse, and I was so excited, forgot to play the back nine." What's that? Bruce Lansky, Meyer Lansky, Art Shamsky, or modern art?
I want to go with Meyer, but I'm afraid that's incorrect. All right, here's the scrambler, and it lands on Mike. Mike, you're on the trivia challenge. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. Let's go with A on that one.
Good morning.
Right on the money again.
All right, NBA, Mike, true or false? Believe it or not, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was nominated for an Oscar in a category no longer existing, Best Cameo in a Comedy, for his role in Airplane. True or false?
True.
No.
Oh, he was horrendous.
He would have won it.
He probably would have.
I mean, he had some good
So what? Mike Tyson and what was the
Hangover.
movie?
He was pretty good in Hangover. Yeah, he was pretty good in Hangover.
He was good in that as a cameo. One for two, going for four here with the
NBA. LeBron James recently passed the 50,000 point all-time points scored, and he passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's second. Who's third all-time in points scored?
All right.
Dirk Nowitzki, Michael Jordan, Karl Malone, or Kobe Bryant?
Wow.
Carl.
Yeah, it's Karl Malone.
Karl
Well
Malone,
done,
the
Karl
mailman.
Malone.
Very
He
nice.
got second behind Kareem and now LeBron.
Those were difficult choices, though, Gurggles. You made that one interesting. All right, going for 9 points in the lead and a spot in the finals.
He's already in the finals.
Well, kill the drama here, Luke.
You can
gotta
take
make it seem like everything's on the line here.
and be the
All right.
pace.
Go ahead. You need this one, Mike.
Hey, let's go back to horse racing. Who was the last horse to win the Tampa Bay Derby and then go on to win the Kentucky Derby in that same year?
All right.
Was it Gopher Gin, Barbaro, Street Sense, or Always Dreaming?
Street Sense.
Street Sense.
Yes.
Yes.
2007. Well done.
Oh, you setting the pace. Hang on, you're in the finals here, Mike.
We have legitimate contestants going in the finals here. So see what happened, Lubie? You step up your game, and not, as I said, no denigration whatsoever. The Landlubber's gift certificate is fantastic. But
yeah, and now with the Roadhouse gift certificate, some of these people that are talking to Lubie from different places,
you're in California,
jump online and have some fun.
Get involved in a game. I mean, we're giving stuff away. That was always I realized this very early on in my tenure here, South Florida radio, when I literally was giving away an expired coupon for a frozen pie at a closed grocery store. And the people were lined up like I'd never seen before. Every phone line was lit for hours on end trying to achieve this and win this prize. And I'm thinking, do they realize I made no there was no confusion about the fact that this thing was worthless. And they still were clamoring for the prize.
Two things could increase our audience. One, if somehow we got the word out to everyone at Century Village.
Yes.
And the second thing, if Lubie had every Roadhouse in the country right at the bottom of their menu, hey, you want to win a free gift certificate? Go on YouTube every Thursday.
There
Bingo.
you go. And like I said, I mean, the principle behind this was that the people around the country here, I mean, they're probably not coming to Landlubbers. So this was very generous of us to go ahead and commit to giving away the gift certificate, even though we don't have the thumbs up yet from the person that markets these things and deals with us. But we'll come through. I believe we will, even if we have to come out of pocket. All right, finals are set here. We have Ron, we have Mike, two guys that did very well during the course of the game. They both nailed very difficult 5-point questions to qualify for this opportunity.
Yes.
Gurggles is going to toss out a question. Call out your name if you want to answer right away. If nobody answers right away, we offer multiple choice. The first person to call out his name gets first chance. We go back and forth until we have a winner. Good luck, everybody. as we contest the championship of this week's edition of the Trivia Challenge. Here's Dave.
All right, golf, guys. This week's PGA event is the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass, often called the fifth major. In its history, 6 PGA players have won that event and a major in the same year.
Wow.
Of the following, who is one of those players who was the only one to win the TPC Players' Championship and the PGA Championship in the same year?
All right, tough one. Anybody? Here's multiple choice.
Hal Sutton, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, or Martin Keimer?
Right.
Oh, that was
Ron,
close.
who was it?
Yes, it was Ron.
Ron.
Hal Sutton.
Hal Sutton.
1983, same year the Dolphins took Marino.
Freaking
Mind-blowing knowledge of golf history, Ron. That is outstanding. And there was no hesitation there. You knew that he absolutely was convinced that he had the right answer. And very, very knowledgeable and educated response there from Ron, who wins the championship in the Texas Roadhouse gift certificate. So,
And Ron, because you are part of the Chronics, and God bless Lenny's up in heaven, the gift certificate will be prorated, so you'll get $17.50 instead of $25.
Lenny's probably up there right now looking down on the game and saying, hey, that would have been mine. I knew those answers.
100%.
All right, Gurggles, anything cooking, Gurggles World?
Last Friday I was at Key Biscayne for a little Beat the Broadcaster. I've got another one coming up the 24th, week from Monday, and actually going to go to the Live event when it's down here at Doral as well with some folks. So a lot, and I'm going to take a tour around our golf course today to see the progress, which has been terrific. So
the Live Tour
gentlemen have a wonderful day.
Yeah, Live Tour still going, huh?
Oh yeah, we'll probably open up sometime late October, but it's really coming along great.
No, not the course there at Shula's, or what was Shula's, but the Live Tour. I've seen nothing on it.
He left.
As we say,
I heard nothing about the Live Tour at all. I know they're still doing the Doral thing.
Anybody seen Greg Norman? He's probably in the same place. Non-extraditable country with Nico Harrison.
Yeah, exactly.
You see nothing about this, do you? I mean, I haven't. Is Brooks Koepka still alive? Did he check out like Oliver Miller? Where are these people? Where's John Rahm? Used to be a prominent figure.
Yeah, you don't see any of these people.
Is this some kind of PGA conspiracy with CBS and the network partners that they have, NBC and ESPN and whoever else is televising golf? TNT gets involved in it sometimes. I don't know if they still are. But to just bury the Live Tour. Well, weren't they on the threshold of a merger when they were sold out by the PGA commissioner who had that clandestine meeting with the Sheik? And next thing you know, he's telling Tiger Woods, hey, Tiger, start learning Arabic, man. That'll be advisable for you if you want to be able to communicate with your caddy. I haven't seen anything on it. It's been crazy. We were getting some criticism here on the chat line, Lubie. Should we address some of these issues? Of course, Jim Sarney, highly critical of our work, always saying that we ignored the fact that there is another tournament out there.
I don't.
Is anybody talking about, besides Tony Segreto, is anybody talking about the women's tournament at this point? Now, last year, there was a natural headline, sensational
Caitlin Clark, whatever, fine.
With Caitlin Clark. And she acquitted herself very well and took a team that maybe wasn't all that talented all the way to the final game, where they ended up losing to a dynamite team that's become a dynasty under Dawn Staley, right?
Yes, South Carolina. Yep.
So we know that. I mean, at least it's on a map, but I don't know. I mean, would you really go out of your way, pick up everything that you had right now, Lubie, and schlep it over to Tampa to be hosting a show from the women's college basketball tournament? Is that where their Final Four is going to be? I guess so.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, no idea. No clue. I know that
Juju on one hand, it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
What was that?
I know that Juju Watkins is good. I mean, I know nothing else. I guess Becker's UConn's good again.
UConn's gonna. They roll to the title this year. Roll to it.
I don't know
about it. This is what I know about women's basketball.
I have no clue.
Gino's not going down. Not this year.
Sorry.
He's in a frame of mind that is stark contrast to the overbearing, sort of insufferable guy that he had become there for a while. And he seems to be genuinely, I mean, he was the voice of reason in that piece on 60 Minutes that Dan Hurley was featured on, where you're looking at Hurley and going, this guy is certifiable.
He's a madman.
If he wasn't coaching basketball, he would be outside on some street in L.A., outside the Main Street gym, trying to tell people, yeah, there is a God. You just don't believe it. Looking like some schlump that had been homeless for 20 years. I don't know. The guy was a certifiable nutbag. And Gino Auriemma was the guy that was kind of providing a little bit of salvation for him to say, hey, don't forget it's a game. It's supposed to be fun. Gino, the person, that's been out there playing as starters, getting them injured when they're up 47 points over Southern Illinois, Edwardsville. And he's going ahead and taking risks just to continue to hammer away on teams. But more likable Gino is out there right now. So I think they go all the way. What do you think, Lubie? If Sarnia pays for it, we go?
Sure. I don't know anything about it, but sure.
How the hell is it even conducted? I don't know. Maybe we'd learn something.
No,
that's possible. And on the local front, I don't know. I mean, the Panthers lost to the Bruins. I saw that. But they've been playing great. I think that they would have to be considered. I haven't seen a single game. Where exactly is Winnipeg in terms of being a television attraction? They've been the best team in the league almost. They came out of the gate there. They were like 15-0 or something. And then they kind of tailed off a little bit. And they've been dynamite for this last portion of the season. Going in with the highest number of points in the league, I believe they may be in a dead heat with the Capitals. Now, we see a lot of the Capitals and a lot of Capitals highlights because of the Ovechkin chase of Gretzky. But do we know anything about the Winnipeg Jets?
No.
Nothing, right?
Nothing. No.
I couldn't name you a single player on their roster, Louis. I'm ashamed to say.
No clue.
Should I be ashamed to say that? They're never featured anywhere. I haven't seen them on an ESPN game. Maybe I'm just not looking closely enough. But nonetheless, that being said, I would not for 1 second discount the Florida Panthers.
No.
Back-to-back in the Stanley Cup. I believe. Go ahead. What?
They're already hovering around the top 5 teams, and they took it to another level just in play, then go make both of those moves. They're like tied for 3rd in all of hockey right now. They're the defending champion, back-to-back defending Eastern Conference champions. I mean, people are probably going to be because the Jets. Who's on the win?
I couldn't name you a single player.
I
couldn't tell you their coaches. It's a shame that to go on the air in the capacity of being.
I don't feel bad.
Sports
Where's South Florida?
Savant. Not a good way to do. I mean, you couldn't possibly call yourself an expert even after following this stuff since my earliest memories, right? I mean, I was booking bets literally at 9 years old. How did D'Angelo talk me into going against the Yankees, against the Pittsburgh Pirates? I mean, I remember standing there with him because I wanted to be aligned with this guy. And I'm looking at the 10 guys that were betting on the Yankees, buck a piece, at the time when a buck was a buck. And I'm thinking, we're dead meat. And every game, the Yankees in that series, it was just fantastic. They would win 15-3, and the Pirates would come back, win 2-1 on a balk in the 9th inning the next day. And it goes to the 7th game. And you're thinking, we are absolutely finished here. I literally was, Libby. I was halfway to Queens. Right? That was when you used to threaten to leave home, and you had a stick and a little knapsack. Not even you have like something tied onto the stick there that was carrying whatever belongings, essentials that you had. And you'd get on the Myrtle Avenue elevated train. I remember this, and take it like as many stops as you could. And then the conductor would say, "Are you lost, little boy?" And you're like, "No, I'm not lost. I want to be lost.
I'm running away." Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, on the radios, on the transistors, where everybody was listening, right there on the station platform, there's a long fly ball to deep left field. It is going. And I was back in action, man. The color returned to my face for the first time. All that being said, a couple of other things. Speaking of being a young kid, this Mira Andreeva, I know you don't follow tennis very closely, Louie, but just annihilated Elena Rybakina, who's a heavy hitter. It's been a little bit off since she reached great heights, I guess sometime maybe last year or the year before. She was doing what Arena Sabalenka is doing on a women's side of tennis. But this Andreeva bumps her right out of the tournament there at Indian Wells. Now they're coming to Miami, so we'll get a chance to see these guys.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. If you ever get a chance to go to one of these ATP
Oh, no,
1000
it's a blast.
tournaments,
Yeah, it's a blast.
unbelievable. I mean, atmosphere and action, even in the early matches, which I like going to the side courts for the early matches. But this kid is 17 and very composed, Lubie. Saw an interview with her last year. She's been making a lot of waves. She just won a tournament. I think she got her first tour win just a week or two ago, and has been absolutely annihilating some of the top players on her way, I guess, to what is a quarterfinal matchup right now, where she plays Elena Svitolina, the very popular Elena Svitolina. Very popular, of course, because she plays well, and she's married to Gael Monfils, who everybody loves seeing. Monfils is great because he's completely exhausted, and they're only in the middle of the second set.
He's been playing forever.
Like he slumped over the racket. He literally he looks like the guy I played last night, Dr. Jerry, where he runs and ends up impaled to the fence, and then he has to hang there for like 5 minutes before he comes back to play the next point. It's like, you all right? Oh no, I'm fine. That's Monfils, and he still competes at 38, I guess, which for him especially seems like he had a lot of miles on the body of that car. All right, and then the TPC gets underway today. Sepp Straka 55-1. That's my pick, Lubie. Scotty Scheffler is going for the three-peat. I don't know who Jim Sarney's booking his bets with, but he's getting a much better price than the rest of the world because he says he's getting plus 550 on Scheffler.
I saw plus 300.
I've been seeing 350 on that guy.
Yeah.
Who's paying 2 points more on a bet? FanDuel? Are they involved in a monetary giveaway or something?
Exactly.
I've never known these people to be overwhelmingly generous. I don't know about you, but that's all part of being a sick, degenerate gambler. All right, thanks, people, for tuning in. Our thanks to Dave Gurggles Gergely. Great job by you, Lubie. And we will see you next time on the next edition of the Defo Show. For Mike, Lubie, Lubitz, and Dave, I'm Jeff DeForest. See you next time as we leave you now that.
The time.
It's 9:05.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
With the down to my soul.